I fixed my sleep with a new protocol. Some parts of it made absolutely no sense, but it worked.
Tough luck, babe. Struck out when you had about 30 chances. One bad day, now you don't know how to pay for the damage. I don't wanna climb. If I'm gonna fall back, it's a waste of time.
And I guess Brian Johnson approves too. Check out my sleep duration going super consistent right after I started this new protocol. This, by the way, is a screenshot of a new optimized tab in my free Longevity Deck app. My main issue with sleep is that no matter what time I go to bed, I always wake up at 6:30 a.m. Which means that if I went to bed a little bit later, I just get less sleep. And another problem was waking up a couple times every night. So here is my entire protocol. If I naturally wake up at 6:30, it means that I need to move my bedtime a little bit earlier to optimize for that lost time. So I set my bedtime to 9:15 p.m. and there is a possible 20 to 30 minute deviation from that. So it doesn't have to be extremely strict, but it should be pretty strict, down to about half an hour in every direction. Now subtract 3 hours from that, and that's the wind down time. Now, me waking up in the middle of the night wasn't really about a bathroom break. It was about intermittent fasting and blood sugar levels dropping in the middle of the night. The solution was to actually eat something very small 3 hours before bedtime. But it also has to be easy to digest. So I experimented with a couple things and ended up with some skyr cheese, around 100 grams, with fruits and chia seeds. That gives me protein, fats, and carbs in small enough quantities that I still get the boost, but I don't get a lot of that extra digestion processing power needed in the middle of the night. And 3 hours before bed is actually a lot different because my previous cutoff time with intermittent fasting was 6 to 7 hours before bed, which means that I was going to bed hungry, and in my case, with all the cardio that I do, it was making me wake up in the middle of the night multiple times. Now let's talk wind down. 8 p.m. is a complete screen cutoff time. No screens after 8. So what if you want to watch a 2-hour long movie or play some video games? Well, you gotta start at 6. Around 6:30 we also dim the lights in the house. They're mostly warmer hues, some are red, some are orange, and yeah, not a lot of lights, definitely not a lot of overhead lights. I also dim the TV if we're watching something or playing some game. And roughly between 6 and 7 I put on my blue light blocking glasses. Do they work? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are really blocking that frequency, but they do block light in general. You get less light into your eyes, which is kind of the point. Between 8 and 9, it's complete relaxation time. I started by doing a breathing exercise of around 3 minutes, slow inhales through the nose and ultra slow exhales through the mouth. I use an Apple Watch while doing this, and it measures my HRV in that deep relaxed state. It's usually a much higher number than normal, but it also shows how ready you are to rest. Sometimes I do some light stretches, especially if I was sitting for most of the day, which I try not to do, but in most cases I just read a book. Kindle is also fine if you don't have it on full brightness. When I start to feel sleepy, I do one more round of those 3 minutes of breathing. That's the second HRV measurement of the day in the deep relaxed state. And obviously I do all the usual good practices. Dark, cold and quiet environment, airplane mode on phones, and phones are in a completely separate room. I'm turning off Wi-Fi at night as well, and I realized it does help me sleep better, even if it's in a big part a placebo effect. I also open the window to let the cool air in. And just like that, my sleep is now between 7.5 and 8 hours every single night. And that gives me plenty of extra time in the morning because I wake up at around 6:15 now, completely refreshed and ready to tackle the day. Obviously there is all that stuff about the morning routine, which in my case is actually pretty long, but that's a story for another video. If you want to stay on top of health and longevity protocols, check out my free app for the iPhone called Longevity Deck, link in the description. Thanks for being here, I appreciate you, and I hope you have really good sleep tonight as well. I know I will.